Pujya Swami Jnananandaji Maharaj, Pujya Swami Bodhmaya Nandaji Maharaj, respected Shri Nripendra Rao, respected Shri Varaprasad Rao, distinguished delegates, gracious ladies and gentlemen. To me, every visit to this premise, the Ramakrishna Mutt, is in fact a reiteration of Swamiji had mentioned, Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. I'm sure you all know the meaning of this. It is from ignorance to knowledge and from darkness to light. And that is what every visit to this great premises of Ramakrishna Mutt to me really means. I am indeed thankful and feel greatly privileged to be part of today's deliberations on corporate social responsibility, being organized by the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence. Please note the word human excellence. It does not talk of sheer excellence. Excellence becomes excellent only when the word human is attached to it. It is something like you may have any number of zeros, but unless you put that one before that zero, then only then the value gets enhanced. Otherwise, any number of zeros will only remain a zero. The moment you put a 1 as preceding a 0, and thereafter you add your zeros, it becomes 100 to 1000 to 10,000, whatever you may count. So also excellence becomes excellence only when the human part of it is prefixed. And that is where the excellence of the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence comes in. I'm indeed honored that you have thought of this, sir. In fact, it is extremely nice that you have thought of a subject like corporate social responsibility as a theme of today's seminar. As the distinguished Swamis has mentioned, it is seva which is dharma. Vaishnava janato tene kahiye, jo peed parai janena. When we talk of this, sometimes we tend to interpret the word pida, in a very small sense, saying somebody is ill, somebody is poor, somebody is hungry. It is not that. A pida depends upon individuals. What is pida is something which I think the corporates must understand in today's world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after the visionary statements of the two Pujya Swamijis, I am afraid a very mundane matters is what I am going to talk to you about, because I don't have the vision or the greatness of the two Swamijis, so you will pardon me for this very mundane address that I will be making to you. When they talk of human excellence, when you talk of similarly, many times when I talk to certain corporates, you will pardon me if I do make some uncharitable remarks. It is not intended, but I am purely basing it on my experiences and my discussions, and it is not my imagination. Sometimes when I do discuss with people about responsibility, it is often misunderstood with corporate responsibility or public relations responsibility. Corporate responsibility is something that you do to your own employees. Maybe you organize a school for them, you organize a medical care for them, or you give them a bonus, you give them a Diwali gift. That is corporate responsibility, that is part of your human relations aspect to enhance your business value, to enhance your production, to keep the employees' morale on a very high. Public relations is something that many times when we talk to them, they say, sir, wo abhi Diwali mela ke liye humne wahan 2000 रुपया दिया था, वो दशहरा के वक्त में हमने 400 लोगों को खाना खिलाया था, और हम यहाँ गए थे तो वहाँ कुछ झंडा उड़ाया था, 10 पौधे लगाए थे. That is public relations responsibility. Corporate social responsibility has an entirely different significance, an entirely different connotation, and that is why it is called corporate social responsibility. It is not called just corporate responsibility, it is called corporate social responsibility. When you talk of social responsibility, why do you call it social responsibility? After all, as I told you, you do a lot of things for your own corporate, for your own company, for some people in and around, you are listening to buy peace sometimes or to keep them happy. Social responsibility means every one of us owes a due to society. The societal part of your responsibility is more critical, and that is what we need to understand. All of us are living in a society. We are not living in a jungle. We are not living in a forest away from human beings. So you are living in a society, you are part of society. And people look upon the corporate sector if they can sort of help the society as part of their responsibility. And that is where the corporate social responsibility really becomes extremely important. A corporate citizenship is what we're looking at. Because everybody has to think that he's a citizen of the country and have a corporate conscience. I think the need of the hour is the corporate conscience. I'm afraid this sometimes does become a casualty. Tell me, do you require a law to make you corporate social responsibility complaints? Where is the need for a law? There's a law today, I think, which has come up with the Company Laws Act recently in 2013, which says that you have to put in a certain amount of money as part of your corporate social responsibility. Is it required? Is policing the only way to sort of ensure compliance to corporate social responsibility? Certainly not. I, for one, do not agree with that. Why did this happen? It happened because people started mistaking corporate responsibility and public relations responsibility for corporate social responsibility. And that is why probably the law had to be brought about, saying that you owe to society a part of your profits, a share of your profits. Well, all of us run organizations to make profits. After all, money is important. I mean, I'm not saying that why don't you be in tatters? Certainly not. You are putting a lot of effort, you are putting a lot of labor, you are putting a lot of finances, funds, so you certainly need to make profits. But profits beyond a particular stage is just 0, 0, 0, 0. You're only looking at 0, 0, zeros in your dreams, nothing beyond that. You might become the world's 10 richest persons in there. Then you have to think of where do you park those funds, how safe are the funds, that tomorrow some mafia should not come and start terrorizing you to saying part with some money, blackmail you to things of this sort. So I think after a certain stage, I think one has to think in terms of using these financial resources for seva of the society. That, I think, is the most important part of corporate social responsibility, and that is where it comes in. Many times people keep asking us, what are the areas in which we can really help society? And today, as you're all aware, education, healthcare, skill development, and employment are some of the things which society is looking forward to in its own way. Yes, the government, as a government, has a responsibility towards its citizens in terms of education, healthcare, and all these things. I don't deny the role of the government. But what is government? Government is a group of people elected by you and me. They are also your own fellow beings. And after all of us are part of this country. And so I think every one of us has to be part of the governance. Because it's the easiest word today to say is that it is trust deficit, poor governance, poor governance. It's a very easy statement to make. But do you think that you and I have a responsibility or not in governance? Are we not part of governance? Why should not every citizen become part of governance? When it comes to public-private partnership, we are willing. But when it comes to corporate social responsibility, you require a law. Is it required? I mean, so many projects you come to the help of the government where finances are required, expertise is required. When you come and share with us and say, let's do it as a PPP project. But when it comes to corporate social responsibility, you require a company law to come. On one occasion, I was discussing with somebody about corporate social responsibility on one of the projects that they were doing. And he said, we acquired so much of land from people, etc. So I asked him casually, I said, what is the compensation that you're paying for the land? He said, sir, in the place where the farmer would have probably got 5,000 rupees per acre, we are paying him 25,000 rupees per acre. I said, very good. That's an excellent thing, 5 times the value. He said, so 5 times the value is what we are paying him. I said, very good. But please tell me, how much would you make out of this 1 acre of land? It runs into crores. I mean, is this corporate social responsibility? I'm sorry to become emotional on this. I asked him to just get out, and I said, I will ensure that your project does not come up here. If this is the term, this is your concept of corporate social responsibility. I mean, corporate social responsibility does not mean that you give him something which is much more than what he really had, and that you think you have fulfilled your responsibility. It has to be in proportion to the profit that you are going to make out of that 1 acre of land or 10 acres of land. The relief and rehabilitation measures. Why is it that many NGOs take up many times opposition to various projects coming in various areas? It is because the relief and rehabilitation measures that we are talking about are probably not adequate, or they are not really complied with, they are really on paper. Many times the relief and rehabilitation measures are merely on paper. Why don't we bring in an area of transparency, this thing of accountability, a measure of auditability in your relief and rehabilitation measures when you acquire land for a particular project? And it should be definitely in proportion to the profit that you are going to earn. It cannot be 5,000 to 25,000 and then you say you're gaining 5 times his value. It is not that. You have deprived a man of his livelihood. You had deprived the man of his, uske pet mein mara hai. The chawal which he used to going to get on that land is now gone. He is going to break stones to earn his income. And thereafter, what jobs do we provide him? Some watchman, peon, chaprasi. And then, sir, I provide him a job. Are you being fair? Are you being fair? Please ask your conscience. Please touch your conscience and ask this question. Is the type of jobs that you're providing? You are supposed to really provide, bring in a certain amount of skill development and get him into the system so that he is able to enjoy a little better life. I mean, in as much as you and I are going to improve our lifestyle, don't you think that he also deserves to improve his lifestyle? Acquire some skills. Yes, all of them may not be literate. And that is where the field of education comes in. I would urge upon the corporates who are present here, the distinguished corporates who are present here, though you are doing a lot in terms of corporate social responsibility, I think what we require today is a vision for corporate social responsibility. Today we are doing corporate social responsibility in bits and pieces, small bits, small pieces, each one individually. Can you form a consortium of our corporates and say, this is what we are looking for the next 50 years, 70 years, as to where people will be, we will take them on? Could we look at that sort of a joint collaborative effect in terms of corporate social responsibility, and can we come up with some plans saying that this is what we propose to a group of companies, maybe 5, 10 companies, saying this is what we propose to do? Why can't that happen? Why should we go about it individually? Because individually, and then also, I'm not asking you to give any funds to anybody at all. You form a hospital, you run the hospital with your doctors, make them the payments, you run the hospital, give free treatment. You want to open a medical college, open 4 medical colleges in 4 regions in the 2 states, and run it as free education or subsidized education for the deserving students, and you absorb the rest of the fees as part of your corporate social responsibility. You run the institution. There's no use of saying, sir, I have thrown this money, I have given my share of money, I have already parted with, it's for the government to do it. And all that you will probably is find a shell. So why don't you take it upon yourself saying, all right, I will sort of build this college, run it, administer it, and see that education is provided to children, deserving children on a subsidized rate. Why can't we do something like that? Why don't you adopt, say about, each corporate adopts, say about 10 villages on a total concept? Well, what we call as a Nirmal Gaon. You take it up as a Nirmal Gaon concept, where you will provide cleanliness, sanitation, water, education, skill development, solar lighting, everything. Convert that village into an urban area. Let the privileges, let the facilities that are available in the urban area be transmitted to that rural area. Why don't each one of us, or each of the corporates think in terms of adopting about 10, 15 villages and do that? There is no use of just saying, I've given 10,000 rupees here. I don't accept that as part of corporate social responsibility at all. I'm sorry for making this statement. Corporate social responsibility is something which is a long-term responsibility. It is not a one-day relationship. In as much as your business is a long-term business, the corporate social responsibility also is a long-term relationship between the giver and the person who is going to enjoy the benefits of your corporate social responsibility, be it in terms of education, be it in terms of healthcare, be it in terms of adoption of villages. In fact, I have been making a lot of appeal many times in Hyderabad, repeated, I don't know how many of you must have heard this also. I've been talking to the hospitals. We have corporate hospitals. They are also corporates. Why can't a team of doctors pull in their resources together and start doing medical screening of the citizens of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana? Why can't we do that? The Ramakrishna Mutt does it, provides free medical care. The Sai Baba, the Puttapati Sai Baba Ashram runs mobile clinics to villages with excellent doctors, providing free medicines and free care. So why can't these hospitals run it? Why can't the corporate hospitals take up this responsibility of screening villages for certain diseases? The L.V. Prasad Institute of Eye Care does it. So why can't we do that? What are we hesitating for? What are we looking for? And everybody says, no, sir, we are providing free medical care to 100 people. We do this, we do that. But that is a drop in the ocean. But if all of you can pull in your resources, it will be a massive, massive, massive thing for us for health care. Why can't we make a start on that? You take one district as a pilot project and let us screen the people of that and see if people who are really ill are thereafter brought on to the next level of medical care. I mean, this will sort of help you as part of not only a corporate social responsibility, but also help you in reducing the bills, medical bills of the government, which can thereafter be put in for development purposes. Because sometimes when you talk to some people, we have an Arogya Shri which is available, we have government hospitals which are available, We have private NGOs and others who say we are doing free treatment. Everybody is doing everything. We are burning the candle, not both sides, but right through the candle. And ultimately, all that you find is the level of sickness is only growing. Like somebody the other day was asking me, you mean to say everybody is sick in the state? Why are our bills so huge? I don't have an answer for that. Why? Because we are hesitating to go into the villages and really see whether we can look at who is really ill and then bring him on to regular treatment. And that, I think, is a corporate social responsibility. I think we need to think of things in a much bigger way of what is corporate social responsibility and not confine it to throwing some little pieces of money and say this is what it is. Economic conditions. You have to sort of improve the economic conditions of the people who are less fortunate than you and I are. And that can be done only by providing them skill development and employability. That is what I am looking at. Pollution, environmental. How far are we responsible for spoiling the environment around us? I know of a particular state where pollution is prevalent all around. And in fact, when I addressed them, I told them, you will earn so much of money that ultimately the money will be useful for you to go to the United States for treatment. You will never be able to enjoy it because the pollution is so large, because the amount of pollution that you are letting out of your system, the amount of environmental degradation that you are doing is only going to reduce a sick population. How far are we responsible for averting pollution? What anti-pollution measures are you putting into your systems, into your various factories that are required? Sometimes you switch it on, then if the anti-pollution people come, they do a check and say, sir, everything is fine, because you know in advance that the fellow is coming, all the machines are working. Thereafter the machines are switched off. Actually what you should really monitor is electricity bills. And then you will realize how much of pollution, how much are these machines running, how much pollution has come, and what has been the bill payment. I'm afraid we may have to go in for tough measures if people are not going to be pollution compliant. Because this is something we cannot play. We are playing with lives of the citizens of this country. Profit alone cannot be the motive. We will certainly have to look at the citizens' welfare and your fellow human beings' welfare. It's going to affect you and me also. It's not that you are going to be free from pollution. It will hurt you also at some point of time. And I think we owe a responsibility to society, and that is where I think we need to do it. I think we need a certain vision, as I told you, for corporate social responsibility, so that we are able to bridge the gap in society and we are able to become part of society. That is what it is. And as Swamiji had mentioned, I think there's a very, very important need for ethics in all these things. Minus ethics, devoid of ethics, life, I think, is futile. Devoid of value system, I think life is useless. You are a machine, earning machine, money-making machine. If you don't have certain core values in your system, certain core ethics in your profession, then I'm afraid you may be the richest man, you may come the Forbes list, you may come in this list, you may come in that list, but you are not a human being. I'm sure the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence will put this human aspect into every one of the participants today. And the most important thing is to get into the human aspect. And what differentiates a human being from a being is that a human being has certain values in him, certain core ethics in him, which he will not compromise anywhere. And that, I think, is the need of the hour, that we need to sort of see how we can all have ethics and value built into our lives. I think it's very useful to have ethics and core values in our own lives, because you'll find in our own family life, it is very necessary that all have preserve certain values. I mean, India has a very rich heritage. Unfortunately, we do not know this heritage. And because of lack of evidence, we call it absence. Absence of evidence is treated as evidence of absence. That is the problem with us. We do not know what is our heritage, so we tend to think that, oh, the whole thing does not exist. For us, if you don't have evidence about a thing, it is absence. The thing does not exist. I think it's time that we go into the roots of India, Indian culture, and that is where I think the Ramakrishna Mutt as an institution will take you back to the roots of culture. What Swami Vivekananda did, what Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did, what Sharda Devi did. There are people who had certain values in them. And today, unfortunately, I think there has been a complete dilution of values and ethics. And that is why all these miseries are visiting us today. If we are able to go back to our value system, to the roots of India, we don't have to look at the West at all. We don't have to look overseas for that. It is there in your own country. After all, we are the founder fathers of so many things which the world is today enjoying. Today you talk of pranayam. What is pranayam? Today we are willing to spend 10,000 rupees, go to some fellow and say, please teach me pranayam, and then in a social get-together, so you know I'm learning pranayam. You feel very proud to say I'm learning pranayam. It's something which my ancient forefathers have been doing it for so many generations, so many centuries. Pranayama is a simple breathing exercise that we have all been doing. Yoga. What is yoga? Is yoga new to India? That we had to go to a school and learn our yoga and say, oh, we are all going to yoga school, it's giving us a lot of peace of mind. Peace of mind does not come by merely doing yoga, sir. Peace of mind comes if you have certain values and adopt a certain ethics in your life. That is where yoga comes. Peace of mind comes there. Peace of mind doesn't come by doing pranayama and by doing yoga. These are very good for a social talk. For a dinner table talk, it's very good saying, oh, sir, I'm now doing pranayama, I'm now doing yoga, I'm doing now meditation. You tell me, sir, is any one of this new to India? Is meditation new to you? Is pranayama new to you? Is yoga new to you? I mean, we all sit on the floor and eat. Ancient Indians used to sit on the floor and eat. Our elders in the house used to sit on the floor in the house and eat because it was a yogic posture by which food would be digested much more easily. Today, unfortunately, at the age of 20, 30, we are not able to sit down because my knees are packed up. I don't see whether I can do a knee surgery, knee replacement, hip replacement, brain replacement, my body replacement, life replacement. That is what we are doing today. Why? Because we are run away from our own heritage. We are run away from our ancient systems. After all, zero was found by this country, sir. What is that this country has not found? Take any field. Take metallurgy, take medicine, take anything that you want. What is that India has not had? Unfortunately, we have all forgotten it completely. So we look at the West. If somebody in the West comes and says, you must do yoga, you say, oh yes, yoga is supposed to be. If somebody in the United States does yoga, then we start doing yoga. Vegetarianism. Did we not have vegetarianism as a practice in this country? And don't we know that it also helps you in health? Somebody has to come and tell you, no, in the West today everybody is a vegetarian, everybody is a teetotaler. And somebody has to tell you that you have to be a teetotaler to have preserved well health. Somebody from the United States of America or some foreign country has to come and tell you, you must become teetotalers, you must become non-smokers so that your health can be preserved. I don't think so. I think we are all strayed away. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request that let us go back to our roots. I'm sorry for giving this sort of an advice. This is not an occasion for this sort of an advice, but the audience being what it is and the venue being what it is, I thought I'll open my heart to you. Please have ethics in life. Please have values in life. I think if you have ethics and values, corporate social responsibility will flow on its own. Your conscience will prick you if you don't return something which you earned from society. Your conscience will say that I owe this to society and you will give back to society. So I'm sure today's seminar will be a great eye-opener and we will see many of the corporates here going back with a sense of fulfillment, with a sense of achievement, with a desire to do something for fellow human beings. Ultimately, as I told you, we live in a society, ladies and gentlemen, we don't live in isolation. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.